Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships here in CeBIT Hanover for League of Legends. And wow, what a game now. Freak, you're joining me for this one. It's SK versus Moscow 5,
oh, yeah.
Both 3-0 in the group. This is the big decider, really, for who's going to be into the semifinals.
It's true, it's going to matter a whole lot for this one, and there's a couple things at play here. One, this is a rematch of the semifinals at Intel Extreme Masters Kiev, just in, I think, January, and Moscow 5 2-0'd them there, and that's pretty impressive. Now, the other things to note are that, you know, both these teams are 3-0 in the group so far, but it feels like SK has been kind of having stronger games. Moscow 5's wins have been like turnarounds from losing early on. We saw them on stream against Team Solo Mid, where they lost the first Dragon, they lost First Blood, and then they managed to turn that around the rest of the way. Off screen, they had, I think, like a 9-1 kill deficit against against Curse, and they still turned that one around.
And so that was really down to Curse as well. That was I mean, don't get me wrong, they have to win the game, but Curse, I felt, really through that. And they're going to feel it themselves, because they were, I mean, it was just like instant arguments. As soon as the big team fight finished, it's like, they're all looking at each other like,
wow.
Yeah, there was definitely words spoken there, but you know, it's immediately put them under pressure. So, and like you say, SK have just looked invincible so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you got to look at this, you know, in SK, you know, and it goes both ways, right? Because again, as SK did get 2-0'd in that last one, you can see them actually on screen there. There's Kevin, you can see Candy Panda, and you know, it's I don't know which way to sway it. I don't want to, you know, have you guys assume that there's going to be a win one way or the other. But you know, Moscow 5 again 2-0'd them at Kiev, but SK have been looking stronger in this tournament. Part of that might be their new lineup. Now they've gotten a new jungler. You can see Moscow 5 on camera, and you know, these teams are just, you know, such high-class teams, and both teams really want to win here. If they can go 5-0 in group, or at least go 4-1 the right way, they're going to take first seed of the group. First seed of the group means you get a bye in the first quarterfinal, which means you're playing all the way up on Friday. You don't have to show up tomorrow even at all. And we're going to see how this actually is decided as the players are ready to go up onto the stage. We're going to meet them, greet them, and then we'll be back here.
All right, it's time. All right, it's time for the next match of the day at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Let's give it up for SK and M5.
And I'm here on the main stage right now with the two undefeated teams. I have to my left from Moscow 5, Alex Ich. I guess I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's fine. And to my right, I have Nif from SK Gaming. Both teams currently 3-0, and both teams looking so very, very scary. Nif, I'm going to start with you. The last time you guys met, M5 was at Kiev, I mean, in an offline event at the last Intel Extreme Masters, and they made it look rather easy beating you. Obviously, you've learned a lot, you've adjusted to the new meta. Just straight from your gut, how do you feel your chances are today?
I think we win.
You think you win? That's your prediction. That's very straightforward there. And Alex, just describe to us, what has it been like since Kiev? I mean, you guys were semi-famous before because of your crazy Empire moves in the qualifier. Everybody saw that on YouTube. If not, go look it up. But Kiev was really the moment that you guys exploded into the lamplight. What was it like since then? What's the feeling been for the team?
It is a lot of hype, and then you can't just keep it on. I mean, online it's just different from offline. You can show everything when you get some event like Hanover. So you have to just show like best performance, best games. And we got a bit down streak, but now we're in form, so we're going to win.
Okay, you're going to win as well. I think we have a little disagreement here between you gentlemen. I already know how we're going to settle it. Nif, next question for you. You just helped me do a little bit of math there backstage. There is only one chance for you guys to still drop out of the group stage, that's to lose both your next games, in which case there's a chance for a three-way tie. You have two chances to at least make one of those wins count. Obviously, you just want to go straight in right now. You're coming off a boot camp in the SK in the SK office. How would you say, just if you want to summarize in one sentence, how is this SK Gaming different from the SK Gaming we saw at Kiev?
We know what you do now.
You know what you do now. That is brilliant. That's definitely an advantage. Knowing what you do, it helps. It helps a lot. Alex, I think you guys are 4-0, so you are definitely going on. Is that correct?
No, we're 3-0.
Oh, you're still 3-0. Okay, so you also have a chance to still drop in, but I think you have probably, after SK, the easier match in the end. I mean, they're still up against TSM and yourselves, but this is, I'm sure that this means more to you than just points in the group stage. I think you still want to demonstrate something here now. You guys have also started streaming a little bit, so are you aware of there being like a fan base watching you at home right now? Do you know that there is a lot of people tuning into this event, especially for you guys?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you know if there is a specific fan base? Do you think that there are people watching this event only because they want to see Moscow 5 right now?
No, I think everyone watching this event because this is like the grand final in Hanover.
Well, that is true as well. But yes, but you definitely, things have changed since Kiev is what I guess was my point. And there may be a little bit more pressure. Are you feeling any pressure at all now?
We got some pressure against Curse Gaming, but I think it was because of our mistakes, and there is no such... I mean, if you look at Darian, he's always relaxed playing.
He's always relaxed. That's a definite advantage to have. So at this point, really, I think we've had so many interviews in the day. I don't know what else to ask you, Nif. So if you just have a message for everybody watching at home, or maybe here in Hanover as well, and cheering on SK, maybe you have a message for them?
I just want to thank all the fans for cheering to us, and yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks guys. So there they are. There's a few of them out there, and I'm going to give you the same chance if you want to say one last thing before you go into what may be the most epic match of the day.
Thanks for everyone watching. We'll try to show the best performance in this game.
Best performances. That's definitely a statement of intent right there. Thank you very much, guys. Maybe we can have one pre-game handshake. There we go. Let's have this be a very, very fair game, and I am really looking forward to this one, guys. I'm going to give it back to the caster stage with Demon and Freak. I'm sure cannot wait to cast this match.
Yes, indeed, we are excited for this one. I mean, I don't think you can actually tear Freak away from this casting booth right now. I mean, you'd have to literally take him physically clawing at the desk and say, no, I want to see it. It will be an awesome game. 3-0, both teams, and both have just looked phenomenal, Freak, so far.
Yeah, and yeah, basically you walk up and it's like, hey, so who wants to cast next game with me? Who is it? SK Moscow 5. Dibs, like... Please, and everyone's, I was like, sure, go for it.
Joe's busy over there. Somebody needs to do it for me. Everyone's like, ugh.
Dibs. These games are looking phenomenal, and as the players are sitting down, you know, I mean, we're ready. I mean, we just can't wait to see these games go on. And I mean, it's two teams that are 3-0. You've got a player, SK Kevin, hasn't even died yet in this tournament. He literally hasn't died. He's 14-0-21 across his games. You know, SK's pulling out 6 kills per death across the series so far. I mean, you just got like ridiculous things going on. And also, you know, I got a bit of a prediction here. I'm pretty sure Moscow 5's 3 bans, I'm going to call them right now, Rammus, Cassiopeia, and Aurelia. The reason I say that is Rammus and Cassiopeia, they've banned consistently throughout this tournament. And then Aurelia's been banned against SK consistently throughout this tournament. So I kind of feel like that's going to be one of the stories there, is I already know what those bans are going to be, which means you've got, you know, the rest of the options available, of course, is AD carries, supports, and junglers and all that, along with the earlier storyline about Moscow 5, where Diamond's only ever played 3 champions still in IEM, Lee Sin, Shyvana, and Gangplank. You've got kind of, I don't want to call them predictable players, but they certainly have some favorites, and, you know, at some point I think these teams need to take notice.
But at some point, you think they'd figure it out. Yeah. I mean, we were saying all the way through Kiev, it's like, ban Shyvana.
Yeah, ban Shyvana.
Anyone got to ban Shyvana? Nobody did. And you know what? He's still been playing as Shyvana. It's like, these guys might learn eventually. Well, you know what? One team that will have learned is SK. SK have played Moscow 5 quite a few times, even since Kiev as well, but they did meet in that semi-finals, and as Daniel said, it was not a pretty game. 2-0, very much a whitewash. I think they were like 20-minute games as well.
It was harsh.
Yeah.
It was real harsh. They got honestly owned. But now it's their time to come back and say, hey, we've fleshed out our lineup. We now have Drayan, the Polish jungler now on their squad, and they're going to hopefully rely on him. And he's actually had some really good performances so far. And there we go, the immediate ban on Gangplank, and that was actually one of the bans as well that we were looking at earlier. There's the immediate Rammus ban. Moscow 5 has first banned Rammus every single time in these games. Let's see if SK is going to pick up the Lee Sin and the Shyvana. And there's the Shyvana ban. SK has done some homework. There's the Cassiopeia still. I'm crossing my fingers for these bans to be correct. Will they ban Lee Sin? SK. Oh, they've been banning Aurelia. Okay, sorry. Maybe I was actually wrong there. SK was the ones banning Aurelia, but at least I guessed that one kind of right. Sure. Kind of. I don't know.
So we're actually going towards the bans that actually do work. It's what every team has been saying against if you're playing Moscow 5, this is what you do. Teams like COG EU are like, well, we know how to counter it, and they have actually seemed to have figured out a pretty good counter strat. The question is, have SK or any of the European teams been watching it? Remember, Moscow 5 mentioned Against All Authorities, who they lost to recently online, and said, actually, we are really struggling against them. Now, bearing in mind, this is a case of who will go first and who would be second and third. Well, whoever comes second in this group will be facing Against All Authority.
Yeah. And that's always going to be a little bit of a scary thing for Moscow 5. If that's their most scary player, they really want to win this game. And I'm pretty sure if Moscow 5 win this game, they automatically take first seed. Because if both these teams end up going 4-1, they won the direct game against SK. So if Moscow 5 wins here, they make semifinals automatically. And they really want that. They don't want to fight Against All Authority. They don't even want to risk taking second or third seed there. And it looks like, wow, Kog'Maw Nunu going to be the instant grab here for M5. And by the way, that final ban, Janna, was actually a champion that both Moscow 5 and SK have picked or banned every time she was available. That whenever she wasn't banned, they had grabbed that champion, and it seems that a lot of sort of deference has been given to that champion. This Nunu Kog'Maw lane is something we've seen multiple times now that was used for Cypher against Curse on the off-screen game. And SK grabbing an Ezreal there with every other AD carry available. They're saying, no. We want to grab. Yeah, I mean, it's Candy Panda Ezreal. Like, it's not a bad thing at all. So that's quite the interesting pickup. The early Vladimir, I don't think we've seen a first pick Vlad yet this tournament, or maybe I'm completely mistaken, but that's going to be interesting. Ezreal Sona versus Cog Nunu. And some interesting things here. TF is available. They could do Nocturne TF.
I wonder if we're going to see, say, the double Willie the Ancient sort of strat with the Abyssal Scepter that we saw earlier today, maybe? Which Moscow 5 actually ran as well, didn't they? Against Team Celamid?
I think it was against Celamid, yeah. Because it was the Ash arrows, and they kind of jumped on Reginald every time, and he kind of died a whole lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see what kind of champions are picked up here. This is the first time we've actually seen Nocturne, if Moscow 5 does do that. Actually, well, top Nocturne is, just kidding, Lee Sin. Not really surprised at this point. I was actually surprised, actually, at SK to not, I was considering maybe that first pick Lee Sin potentially, because that would lock out that third champion that Diamond is always playing. But no, they're going with a Bruiser comp here. They've picked up Wukong and now Lee Sin here. And they're leaving their mage for the last pick.
So Wukong versus Vlad up top. What are you going with that one?
I mean, they can still run Kennen top or anything else. They could even run their own Bruiser. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they actually choose to do here. The early Vlad pick is great because you can run that in either lane. You have no obvious counter lanes here. And they just grab their duo lane there with the Sona Ezreal, which is actually a very strong aggressive lane as well. A lot of mobility on that one. And now SK can say, okay, we know that Wukong's going to be top. We know what this bottom lane is on both sides. We know the jungler's Lee Sin. What top lane do we want? What everything else do we want? What jungler do we want? They've got a lot of basically reaction choices here now.
So what will be the final pick for SK Gaming? Well, they're going to go for a jungler. Oh, a Mumu, of course. A Mumu available and locked in instantly there. So Ocelot as well picking up Morgana. So Morgana will be the mid. What will the AP carry be for Moscow 5? They've got the choice of pretty much everything apart from Cassiopeia and Morgana available to them. It's just a case of what will he feel. Will he go with Ryze again, Morgana? I mean, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, bearing in mind, Ryze is a pretty popular pick for Alex.
It's true, yeah. Also
could be Galio.
Yeah. But there's actually interesting. So SK is going for a full-on AoE lineup. You look at this lineup here, and it's like, okay, Mumu ults, Vlad ults, Morgana ults, Ezreal lances R across everyone. You've got Sona ults. You've got basically 3 AoE lockdowns and 3 AoE giant damage spells. If you know, because Morgana's kind of both at that point, and they could melt this team. And honestly, I think AoE is pretty good against Bruiser. Just in that, yeah, they can survive the AoE, but then everyone's really, really low. And it is actually, looks like it might be Galio. That's the tentative click right here. And I've actually heard differing opinions actually on AoE versus Bruiser, where a lot of people were saying, no, Bruiser is like the counter to AoE because they withstand the burst and then kind of push through you. But at the same time, I kind of like this this SK setup here. I think they can actually push through all of this lineup here. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. But Moscow 5 actually pretty AoE themselves. They've got Galio, Nunu. They've also got the Wukong spin there. And then they've, of course, got a blood-boiled Kog'Maw on the back lines. And that is a scary, scary guy to deal with. And you know, well, Kevin looks like he's going to be playing Vladimir. So if he's going to keep his track record of never dying, Vlad is probably the best choice for that.
And I find it amazing the fact that these teams can quite easily switch between double AP and Bruiser strat now. I mean, it used to be a case of this one or this one. Now we've seen Moscow 5 doing it earlier today, and now they're going with the Bruiser again top. The fact that these top lane players happen to be so versatile that they've got to have such a bigger pool of players, it's really starting to hamper those lesser players.
I really agree that I think they have probably, but between top lane and jungle, I think those are the two sort of most, you know, two roles that most require you to be versatile with different champions, because you basically, you know, with jungle you've got pretty much every role in the game available. If you're Snoopy, you run AD carries as jungles, or of course, you know, standard, you know, tanks like a Mumu and Nautilus, or bruisers, you know, like you're seeing with Lee Sin and Shyvana, or you also can run, you know,
you can run Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks. You can run mages. You can run things like that. You've even got the hard carries like Master Yi. Maybe not so much in competitive play, but Tryndamere certainly seen as a sort of a high-profile pick, especially when we used to be super OP back in the day. And so you've got a lot of choices there available. And the same with solo top as well. You've got a lot of mages there with Ken and Vladimir, bruisers, tanks, etc. So there's just all sorts of weird, you know, varieties there, and these players have to be super versatile. And you know, we'll see how they pan out with this one. It looks like we're just, you know, seeing bruisers once more from Moscow 5, but now we're seeing a couple of mages come out from SK, and we'll see how that works for them.
Yeah. So, well, what a game. I mean, what are we going to go with here? I'm thinking Moscow 5, but I like SK's lineup here.
I really do. I mean, SK's lineup is neat. It's very, you know, compact and it works well together. Morgana can push, so she can sort of survive these jungle invasions by clearing the waves out and coming to help, clearing the waves, coming to help. But Amumu is very susceptible to being counter-jungled. Amumu without blue is a scary guy, or, you know, it's kind of tears for Amumu at that point. And the thing is, he's got a champion like Morgana who's going to kind of want blue buffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pan out with the golems there. And hopefully they can make this happen correctly. But we will answer that question in the game itself, and we'll be right back with the actual game.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's give you a quick roster rundown of the teams. It is going to be SK Gaming versus Moscow 5, the semi-finals of Kiev, and many, many online tournaments as well. They have played each other a few times since then, and the results have actually varied slightly as well. So for SK Gaming, it is going to be down the bottom. It's going to be Nif and Candy Panda. That will be Sona and Ezreal. So Ezreal being used there, and actually locked in very early. So interesting pick straight away for that one. In the jungle, it will be Dedreon, the new player for SK Gaming, his very first tournament with SK, and has played so well so far. And he's going to be on a Mumu. On the top, it will be Kevin on Vladimir, and in the middle, it will be Ocelot on Morgana. For Moscow 5, you can see Alex Ich right there on your screen, prancing around in the middle, saying, yeah, we're really not going to invade this time. Honest, whether they're going to actually go for it or not. Moscow 5 kind of known for their invasions. I'm not too sure what they will do this time, but he's going to be on Galio in the middle there. At the top, it will be Darian. That's going to be against Vladimir, so he's going to be on Wukong. In the jungle, Diamond will be on Lee Sin. We're going to have to keep a track of him. He likes to roam a lot. Down the bottom, it will be Genju and Gosu Pepper. That will be on Kog'Maw and Nunu. So we have a potential for the crazy M5 move, which used to be formerly Empire, but unfortunately we're missing the Karthus and Ashe ulti, which is kind of what they had to begin with, and we are immediately seeing an invade.
Yep, and they're going to actually steal up that big Wraith right there for themselves. Going to be happy with that one. And I want to interject a little thing that's happening right now, by the way, is Darien doesn't actually play Wukong very much. We actually got someone to profile him. He's played 7 ranked games on Wukong total.
Wow.
He's apparently played him 7 times. So hopefully he's not too far out of his comfort zone, because that's going to be very, very important for him to be able to perform well here.
So let's have a look how these lanes are going to line up. Obviously, as you can see, this is going to be the top lane. It will be Vlad versus Wukong. And I'd be interested to see how many times Vlad's actually been played by Kevin, because obviously he's known for his bruises. So these guys, you know, when they do play solo queue, they obviously have plenty of time. I'm not too sure whether that's custom games as well. Maybe he's had a little practice with that. Alex Itcher being very aggressive in the middle, poking on towards Ocelot, wants to try and do a little bit of damage early on. He will be able to farm. In fact, both these really, it's going to be very hard to just stop them farming, because they both have such incredible polishing power. Meanwhile, down the bottom, you can see how this one's going to set up. They're both setting up their wards in the jungle. Gosu Pepper trying to get a little bit more aggressive here, trying to force Nif out of that bush early on. Genja taking a quick power call to the face, and he'll back away from that one. So, in terms of lane potential, really, where do you think this one could be won?
Well, I mean, right away, though, Moscow 5's been playing very aggressively. They've already pink warded their own brush and cleared the green ward that Nif had placed down earlier. Nunu Cog, I think, has the ability to deal way more damage in about a 5-second window than SK can do with Candy Nif. However, that said, they have poke and they have heals, which means in the long run, I feel like SK has a really good chance in this lane. But we're going to see if Moscow 5 can really just press the advantage in the first 3 to 4 levels and sort of set the stage there. As for the top lane, I feel like Darien should be playing very, very aggressively here. Wukong has a lot of early on base damage. Kevin cannot sustain that well. And indeed, he's going to go in after a minion kill. And there he goes for some damage output onto Vlad. Lands the Q as well. And you're just going to see that kind of move back and forth. There comes Lee Sin. Coming to counter jungle Amumu. Amumu's not going to be too happy with this one. Going to keep moving on towards the back. Q does land. He's going to have to flash away. Looks like he'll be safe from Morgana coming by. Ooh, he's going to W2 a ward and get out. But that was a little bit scary there.
Yeah, managed to avoid the damage there. So the Drain, I think he actually managed to steal the Wraith as well. I'm not too sure whether he got them or whether Morgana managed to quickly get in and pull it. But down the bottom, you can see Genja trying to force Candy Panda back. It's interesting to see Ezreal. Ezreal's not really a character we've seen a lot of in tournaments. We can see the full-on counter jungler. He's going to walk straight past the Triburst there, and he actually did go for the golems. I think he took away the major golem, didn't he, and left the small one alone. So Diamond's really completely invading on the jungle already of SK Gaming, which is, you know, it's something that, say, the other European teams, like I said, they've learned how to counter a jungle.
Yep. Yep, but we're going to see how SK can respond, because again, Amumu is not the fastest at that, and actually looks like they're going to send Ezreal up to clear the rest of that golem out and have that respawn. So nice little teamwork there, saying, hey, I think you counter juggled my golem. Can you please clear that so it resets for me? Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll take that 12 gold. And they're going to use that to their advantage. The highly mobile team here looks like, ooh, top lane, Darien getting pretty low. So some fights from Kevin. So I guess I take that back. Kevin's doing a really good job with this top lane, and is actually forcing people back pretty early on.
So Morgana's just been back to buy, comes back with 3 health pots and those Doran's ring, along with 2 wards. So he wants the ward up very early, well expecting Diamonds to come leaping out of that jungle at any moment. He's going to dash across and take out his golems as well. The Wukong also just been back, ups himself with Doran's blade to go with those boots he had early on, and gone for a very, very early Fortitude Bolt.
Yeah, I've seen that actually from a couple of these guys. And we saw it actually on his Gangplank game when he went and took solo bottom. I forget which team that was against, but yeah, he grabs the early red elixir fairly often, actually. With some win duels for sure. It's very gold efficient.
So he's leveled up his Q and his E. You can see 3 in the E, 2 in the Q. Just keeping my eye on Kevin as well. Let's have a look towards Kevin. I'm guessing he's going pretty standard with his level up. Yeah, 3 on the Q, 1 across the suit. Let's have a look down the middle. You can see Galio. Well, the farming going between these two, it's pretty even. You can see Galio actually with that slight advantage though. So it's obviously, that was Morgana did go back early on to buy. Meanwhile, you can see Galio has been back to buy as well. So he's picked up the Chalice early on, keep that mana going up. Where is Morgana wandering off to? Going down to place that ward. So actually placing the ward in their own jungle there.
Yeah, it's to be expected at this point, because Lee Sin will come in for those raids very often.
Genja taken down very low down the bottom there. Candy Panda just missing off the Q there at the shot. They wouldn't have got the kill though, but it is going to force him back to buy early on. Meanwhile, Ezreal has been back to buy already, which is why he was having to hang around there. So he's got double Doran's Blade. Meanwhile, you can see Genja is going to go back. I guess he's going to pick up a couple of Doran's Blades as well. Yes, he will. You can see Morgana and just keeping Alex honest there. I think he was going to have a little poke towards the Wraith zone. He's just like, no, really, I am going to cut you off, and I'm not going to allow you to go for that one.
And you can see just the mid lane, they're kind of just pushing against each other. Tormented Soil versus Resolute Smite, kind of keeping this minion wave actually towards the middle at that point, just because they're trading so well.
Just keeping my eye on the mid, yeah, the top there. Lee Sin's just sat in there, but he's going to get spotted. Yeah, spotted straight away by Drayan, and actually going across that ward, so he knows he's walking towards him. Will put that ward in the tri-bush, forcing the issue. Meanwhile, you can see actually Ocelot is going up there top there, but unfortunately, I don't think Diamonds is going to walk into this one yet. He's actually going to back towards his tower. Ooh, I tell you what, Red has just spawned. Yeah, and pops his Q across. Clever thinking there from Diamonds. So I know you're in that bush. I'm pretty sure you're in that corner. The mid lane is missing, and that's actually cost Ocelot a bit of experience there. So you can see that Alex has continued to farm while he's been gone. Not too worried about Ocelot coming back.
If you can see, Diamond is farming out those Wraiths pretty quickly, doing a good job of that. Bot lane, who's looking at the farm, it's well, 56 on Cog. Oh, well, top of lane, and that is some damage up with Darian picking up that first blood with almost no health remaining.
Yeah.
Excellent play.
Yeah, I was keeping my eye on the blue buff. I could see them actually invading it. Wasn't expecting Darian to get in there. Darian actually very low on health from that as well, so he nearly got taken down. Meanwhile, you can see the bottom, they're having a push as well. Genja is trying to get on towards Candy Panda and will completely back away. So, missing first blood, it's never good.
Now, I saw the kill call. I was like, oh, top lane, something's going on, and unfortunately my spectator is a couple seconds ahead of yours, so I've got to like look over the other monitor and spot what's going on. Oh, Sona getting a little bit scary right here, getting pushed away by Cog. Will flash. Looks like she will survive that, just barely. The ult missing thanks to running away very quickly. That's very nearly a kill there, and looks like Moscow 5 really taking their prisoners right now. 1,300 gold to the advantage. Cozy Pepper taking a little bit of turret damage as he tries to force Ezreal out, but yeah, I mean, the first blood, and they're pretty much winning bot lane. The minion farm, close equal, but still 10 minion advantage for Galio. Moscow 5 controlling this game pretty well, and they look pretty much on form from IEM Kiev, where they did 2-0 SK Gaming before.
Yeah, so Brutalizer picked up by Wukong. What do you think of that Wukong finish? I didn't see whether, I don't think he used that Fortitude part. He's just keeping it in there. And I think he's using it as a hit point buffer just in case he gets jumped.
Yeah, he's using it as sort of a clutch move. He didn't need to get the first blood. I'm surprised he didn't use it in the prior fight with Kevin, because he kind of got away with that with very low health. You kind of figured that the 10 damage would have been nice there, but Moscow 5 actually starting to get over towards Dragon. They did drop a pink ward just now. They have cleared these wards out, so this could get pretty big for them. Move back down towards the bottom lane. Leeson moving in towards the Baron pit a little bit. So he's going to clear out another ward right there. And yeah, I mean, they're just doing everything they can to get map control over this objective. And they might go for the Dragon very, very soon.
Yeah, they're just setting up for it, and I think they're going to back away for now. They realize that SK are well aware of that, very alert. They can see that Mumu was nearby, so I think they're going to back away from that one. They are going to ping down, and SK pinging it this time, saying, yeah, we want to get some ward coverage here. How's about you go for it? And I think it's going to be a Mumu's the man that's chosen to go up there, but as soon as they put that ward down, it's going to be straight in their face. And Mumu is coming around the bottom there, maybe in the range of a bandage toss, doesn't really want to open with it, maybe trying to get on towards Genja beforehand. He is going to come around there, but it's really just going to be a case of force them back. They will not pull anything from that, so he's just going to back away and return to jungle. You can see Lee Sin now making his way back down the map, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. And as he moves towards the top there, and he does manage to place that ward right inside. I think it might just be visible there, actually. No, just outside of range.
Oh, wow. So that ward, yeah, won't be spotted. It's a good prediction there by SK to put it there. And so, by the way, Kevin now has broken his 0-death streak by giving up first blood, but he's also losing top lane 53 to 88 in minions. So Darian doing a very, very good job on Wukong and is shutting down this Vlad.
Yes, let's have a look towards the middle. How's this one faring up? Alex is out farming still, out farming Morgana, which is pretty impressive in itself. They are both very good farmers. So you can see he's just 10 CS ahead. Wukong, you would expect to be ahead at the top there after having gotten that kill, but he is absolutely dominating. He's not just ahead, he is 40 CS ahead, which is a big, big chunk.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty massive there. And by the way, Kevin actually does play a fair amount of Vladimir. 51 ranked games on him, but actually has a negative win rate on Vladimir. 43% win rate on his own ranked games playing Vlad, and that is not the kind of stats you want in IEM. So we're going to see if they can turn that around. Again, we've yet to see a team fight for SK Gaming, And looks like Wukong might come in. Okay, go back to top lane. Actually, some aggression going on there. Wukong jumping in on Vlad and Mumu, coming up to come into the show as well. Misses Bandage Toss, but will ult on. And Darian going to take a lot of damage. That will be a kill to Drayan, taking that one up. 1-1 there. Good job there. That teamwork. And that's going to come back. That will help them quite a lot. Now, no Mumu ult might hurt them a little bit. They're going to be without that for quite some time. But, I mean, it's good to take the kill, take some free farm, and get Kevin back onto the map there.
Yeah, and that was a much-needed kill. That was simply a case of, look, I need help at the top here. I'm really starting to hurt here. We're going to have a problem with Vladimir if we don't get up and deal with him. So they had to go for it. They didn't push the dragon. You can see Diamonds again in that jungle, stealing away the Wraiths. He's going to go around towards the bottom lane, I believe. So the bottom lane needs to be a little bit away. You can see the Candy Banner already backing off, had passed that ward. You can see Amumu is going to pick up and clear out the rest of the Wraiths. And it looking like Diamond may well, yeah, he has used that ward, gone across towards the dragon, but of course he's sitting on top of the SK ward there.
Yeah, he's good spotted. There's the Clairvoyance used by SK, I think just to scare Diamond because they don't really want to fight him here. And that was actually successful. Diamond's running away as the bot lane did kind of go for some aggression there. So Kog and Nunu did force away SK. SK forced away Diamond, and they're going to look okay now. Alex still, of course, farming up in mid, doing a great job of that. Going to use basic attacks to farm the rest of these ranged minions here.
And while this little roaming's been going on, Morgana's losing more and more CS out to Galio. Galio is starting to farm himself up. But that's really going to be a case of getting in their face. Just keeping down the bottom. You can see Ezreal zipping around, having a little go towards Gosu Pepper. Got to keep our eye on that top lane. How's it going to level out? But since they got killed between each other, you can still see it's a 30 CS difference, which is pretty huge. But Diamonds, again, as always, is living in the opposition jungle. He's going to go back for that large Wraith, knows that it's respawn, comes in, picks it up, and then it's a full-on hit-and-run job.
Yeah, it's pretty excellent by Diamond, just kind of clears two out, and then even uses his own ward to escape faster, just to make that process easier. And the great thing about that is the Wraith camp is one of Amumu's most beloved camps as well. He takes so little damage from it and clears it incredibly quickly with his great area of effect damage. And meanwhile, you're just looking at the bottom lane get really scary. Genshin doing a great job pushing away Candy Panda. And now Candy Panda, low on mana, is going to just ult the minion wave, push it all back, and potentially recall right afterwards.
And actually the blue buff being taken away, so Drayan is not going to take it. You can see he's like, really, Ocelot, you need to get over and take this one. It's been beating on me for the last 5 minutes. It's time you actually picked it up. There goes Ocelot, comes in to take it. Darian getting very scary at the top here, though. Needs to be very careful. Has got that ward in the river. You can see he's actually backing away, so it looks like he's going to make a move. Yeah, so Dragon possibly on here. Moscow 5 making their way down south. Yeah, you can see the ping also going down. It's like, yeah, you and you coming down south. You can see already forming in the eyes and minds of Moscow 5, and now the minute they've seen Darian there, they realise it, and Vladimir is too far away to deal with this one. Hasn't got teleport down. How are they going to be able to control it? I don't think they will. You can see Gosu Peppers just put the ward down in the tri-bush. Clairvoyance goes down, and they are going to pull this one out. I don't think SK are going to be able to do anything about this.
Yeah, they have pulled it already. They've cleared out some of these wards. Ocelot coming in to wait by the brush. We're going to see if he can do anything to steal this. I mean, he can turn himself magic immune, so it's not the worst idea in the world, but oh, Darian making a cute little move there, getting himself up in the way of the Dark Binding. They do clear that Dragon for themselves. About a 21-minute respawn on that one. And that's going to give themselves a nice little gold advantage, 18.7 to 17.4. They were already winning in gold, but now they're winning by 1,500. And that's a pretty nice advantage at this point in the game.
So Kevin tries to farm up that turret as quick as possible, as Wukong just passes by his ward and immediately backs off, so good vision there, keeping his eye on that. Alex X, meanwhile, in the middle there, just dodging out that Dark Binding from Ocelot. Ocelot continuing to have to passive farm away from him, so it's been a pretty heavy farming session so far. 15 minutes gone in this game, only 1 kill apiece, and you can see that Sheen now bought on Ezreal down the bottom. I'm going to keep my eye on that, which way he's going to go with that build. Obviously with Genjo, we can see he's already gone with that double Dorans and a Wriggles as well. The Wriggles being used as that extra ward placements as well. So Fortitude Pot still sat on Wukong, hasn't remotely needed it. So is that a mistake buying it so early, or is it just a case of being safe?
Well, I mean, it's still working out for him. And again, he didn't use the Fortitude Potion when he got ganked by Amumu. I think he bought it in order to sort of garner some advantages if he needed it, but he's failed to use it in 2 very close fights, and I think that's mostly a mistake. Top lane, some aggression from Darian, doing some damage to Kevin, actually going back in, get up to the top lane right now, because there is a lot of pressure going on. Wukong ult has gone down, Vlad ult's in response, trying to get out of there. The flash going down to get him away from that turret, and he's going to be safe on both ends. This time we did see Wukong pop that elixir, and that was pretty required there at that point. He got pretty low and dealt some good damage, and Kevin just all the way out there had burned every summoner and his ult. Drayan and Kevin actually looks like they're going to come back in on this one. but Wukong is going to be safe and no problem there, Kevin, with his buddy Amumu. Not too much just happening yet.
Yeah, just trying to keep my eye on that one. It's going pretty quick. You can see Lee Sin just lurking down the bottom here, hoping to try and ninja his way in towards the bush. He's losing a lot of time as he stands there, and he's like, is something going to happen here, guys? I'm not too sure whether I want to be here, and he's just going to keep lingering around the back.
Oh, wow.
And they have managed to catch down Genja there. So Gosu Pepper also popping the Sub-Zero. You can see Lee Sin going on towards Candy Panda. Will manage to surely catch him out. I don't think he's going to get away to the wall. He's trying his best. He uses the heel up there. Zips away. Actually tries to dodge him. And I think he may have baited him well there. But Alex is coming around the side. I don't think Candy Panda, as much as he can dodge, will get away from that one. And it will be all square 2-all once again. Back towards the top, I can see Wukong also poking on Vladimir. He's had to come back to that lane. That lane is, that tower is very, very low. He's going to dive on towards Kevin. Kevin's just forced to back away from that one. And Freak, this is still a very, very tight game.
Yeah, they still have that 1,500 gold advantage, but the total gold on both teams has just gone up and up. And so, you know, the higher your gold gets, the less 1,500 gold actually matters. And so SK have been holding on to that sort of disadvantage and keeping themselves in very good shape. And Morgana looking happy for top lane. However, she's got some friends coming in behind. This could get ugly really fast. Kevin's back to full health. That's good. Oh my gosh, and Amumu also waiting in the brush there. There comes Galio. And we're going to see what happens here as Wukong jumps in onto Vladimir. Here comes Galio from the back as well. There's the ult, the cyclone going off. Kevin not in a happy place, but Amumu has come by as well. There's the Troll Pool off. There's the ult.
Nice.
This could be pretty bad. Darian taking a lot of damage. Flash is out of the Morgana ult. This might look really good for them. The Flash is still going down. Morgana and Amumu running. Looks like one more is going to fall. Will Morgana fall? Yes, she will as well. 3 kills for nothing. Moscow 5 with an incredible push right there. And a lot of that made possible by Darian.
Ezreal ulti.
Almost.
So close. You can see it arcing its way up the map, but no, they managed to pick up the tower and get away with it. And 3 for nothing, like you said. Now Genja's actually pulling out that Wraith, and he could easily go to hammer on that tower, but he's actually going to back away from it. Doesn't feel he needs to. He needs to protect his bottom tower. You can see Candy Panda actually pushing along with a wave. He wants to try and do as much damage as he can while Genja is disappearing. So let's have a look. How's that turned out for Moscow 5? What have they been back and bought? You can see Abyssal Scepter now has been picked up by Galio. The Trinity Force almost complete by Wukong as well. That's going to hurt once that Brutalizer on there as well. Zeal now on Genja. Genja's going to have a pretty big chunk of money. I'm just trying to see if anything else coming out from that one. Of course, the jungle at Lee Sin had got that Wriggles early on. I'm guessing he's sitting on a chunk of gold. Yes, he is. 1,300 gold. That's back towards the middle. I can see diving on towards Galio. And Ocelot trying his best to defend this tower, but he's got a 3-man push coming in. He has got the Draen with him. I don't think this tower's going to last much longer if they keep pushing on it, and now the invade is on.
Yeah, but they are going to go up for this golem buff. There's the spam coming out. Lee Sin queuing across the wall. And I don't think SK has any tools to stop them. They're kind of nearby, but nope, there's a smite, and they're going to grab that, and away they go. And you can see that when they counter jungle, they just want to make sure they steal the blue away. They're not about giving it to the right champion. You see that Alexish did not get the blue buff there. It was just Lee Sin, smite, take it away from them. It's about denial, not about really the resources for yourself, but more about hurting the enemy team. And that's how they do that, making sure that they don't lose out on those steals.
Do as much damage to them as they can to push that advantage, and it really does hurt them, especially on Morgana. You want to try and use it more for the cooldowns, if anything. Genja at the moment is doing a grand job of trying to keep that tower clear, but he is being pushed pretty heavily as Ezreal working away on him. And you can see Willie the Ancient is now completed by Vlad. Now that's going to work out well, because you can see the Abyssal Scepter on Morgana, so they're trying to get that combo going, which obviously Moscow 5 had against Team Solo Mid earlier on in the day. And at the moment you can see Aegis of the Legion, there you go, that's been bought flat out by Lee Sin.
So he's really going to be supporting his team and relying on his teammates for the damage output. Says, we have a Wukong who's nice and farmed. I'll go tank here. I'm not going to go at Mugs right away. I'm going to help my team out here. And the Abyssal Scepter actually on both sides as well, as Galio's picked that one up, mostly selfishly for himself, because he just wants kind of the MR and the AP for all that. But it's making him a very, very scary guy. And, I mean, Galio's a great choice against the double AP lineup. That was his initial sort of intent, is, hey, build MR to win, and he's going to be happy to do that.
So Dragon has just respawned. Ping goes down. They know exactly. Look at that. The Draen and Nif actually sat on top of the ward. And Cogmor's like, yeah, we know you're there. I'm just going to ulti towards you just to give you that quick warning shot. All the diving on towards Ocelot. Down the side here, you can see he's been caught out. Black Shield used up. Alex Incho will manage to catch him down, and that is going to be a very dead Ocelot. That's going to trigger the Dragon immediately, and they have that advantage, and there's nothing that SK can do about this one. They clear the ward straight out. You can know Ezreal's probably going to sit in the back, maybe try and pop his ulti off and steal it, but it's going to have to be a very close run thing. He has no vision at all of it, and that will be another clean Dragon from Moscow 5.
Yep, 27.5 minutes the respawn there. Candy Panda is getting some minion kills. He's pretty much tied with this this Kog'Maw, but I mean, Kog'Maw's late game, I think, is much better, and they've managed to not win this lane. Actually, they're going to jump in on Nunu, it seems. There's the crescendo, the ult going off. Ezreal jumping in front, but has been exhausted. Could take a lot of damage here from Kog'Maw. Mumu in the wings as well, going to jump in there, do as much damage as he can. But here comes the backside from everyone else. Wukong coming in there, and oh, ouch, Ezreal is gone. Nunu actually still alive, baited that properly. Poor Mumu getting pushed back as well. Sona will make it out, but looks like 2 kills for nothing. Nice little counterattack there by Moscow 5, and that tanky Nunu survived that excellently. And that's the thing, right? When you build just durability on all of your runes, you can bait pretty well.
And in the heat of the moment, you know, they're going in for it. But actually, when you look at that with a clear thought, you're thinking, why are they both standing here waiting, fighting in a 3v2? You got to thinking, there's something coming behind us. It's like, it's the classic StarCraft, I'm being attacked over here, so something's happening over there. You can see Drain actually coming up to try and pick up those wraiths, but Kevin had already taken them. So Kevin at the moment trying to start to force his will on this game. I'm not too sure whether it's going to work out too well. It has been caught out, Darbani flashing across, but Darian was well gone already. So Darian doing a fantastic job, despite the fact he's only had 7 games on Wukong in the past.
Yep. I mean, I guess it's a lot of practice games and a lot of you know, scrims and tournament games, because it's working out. He's doing a great job here.
Yeah, just looking at the CS difference at the moment, you can see Darian at 263, 80 CS ahead of Ocelot in the middle there on Morgana, which is pretty incredible. It's just been free farming up. You can see he's just been back, practically bought a Rabadon's death cap there, needlessly large rod and blasting one comes straight out. He's already got that Abyssal Scepter. He is going to hurt a lot very soon. That poke coming out. Trinity Force also completed by Wukong to go with every other bit of damage. Phantom Dancer by Genja as well. Genja getting a bit of spittle on towards Ocelot, actually continuing and taking up that turret. That's going to be the middle turret going down. I don't think they're going to be able to get back and defend that in time. You can see Genja using it, his long range advantage. And this is actually the standard Kog'Maw build we saw him building in Kiev. We saw him he didn't go for any of the Infinity Edge until really late on.
Yep, absolutely, and you're sort of seeing this in Moscow 5 is looking great right now, and you're going to see just Galio farming it up in mid. And there comes Ezreal across the wall, actually. Going to jump up, and this rally is going off as well. Can they catch up to Alex Ish? Well, it might be a bait. He bulwarks himself. He could always ult if they check the brush too hard. They're going to just jump on in there and then say, yeah, just kidding, we should run away. But now, this is not looking too happy for Nick. He's getting caught by the Kog'Maw ult. Galio's still running up. There's a crescendo to try to get away. Ezreal goes off as well, and there is that flash ulti from Galio. It's going to hurt them a lot. Kevin not looking happy. Morgana ult, though, could do a lot of damage here. Alex will fall, but Wukong's in this fray as well. We're looking at the kills on both sides, and 4 are dead from SK. Only 1 dead from Moscow 5. Excellent cleanup there. And now it's Candy Panda trying to make his way out. Should be able to, but they kind of just...
They should give up chasing him. They should just carry on, either go for Baron here or actually just go down the bottom. If they go for Baron, I think they're actually just trying to bait Ezreal towards them, possibly. I think Ezreal's going to be wise and just back away from this one. I don't think he's going to be able to do a great deal about it. Sub-Zero being used on the Baron there. No, she done. Okay.
That's good damage. Sure, why not?
So why not do it? And then it's going to be a clean Baron for Moscow 5 after picking up. And really, like you said, you know, when they were chasing it in there, they're chasing a Galio into a bush. Granted, they put the ward down, but they should have realized, hang on a minute, the rest of the team might be the other side of this wall.
What I really like about Alex Ish right now is, so he was the big tank for that fight, right? He was, you know, 3-1-5 is the score right now. And they basically won the fight because Alex said, I'm a tank, come fight me, it's okay. Then he died and he was like, man, I just died in a team fight. You know what I should do? Buy a death cap. And so he did that. And now he's got 497 ability power. Yeah, he's a really scary gargoyle right now. He is farmed. He has the highest minions on the entire game. His individual gold, the only one to break 10,000. And poor SK Gaming, they've got 2 guys at 7,000, and those are the richest players.
Yeah, and that is not good stats, which means SK are really going to have to try and turtle this up. Pings go down on Wukong here, and the rest of SK were trying to collapse in around him, and I think he realized it straight away. He had those wards down at blue buff, and you can see, so he completely saw them coming, so SK had to back away from them. But Darian has been causing Kevin a lot of problems. He causes everyone problems, to be fairness. He is 5-1-5, but still actually sitting on another pot there, so he's quite happy buying these full chicha pots, just using them as a backup heal.
Yep, and oh man, they're just not dying anymore. 3 total kills here for SK, and Moscow 5 are just doing phenomenally. I'm just sort of just in awe of how much damage they deal, how well they're team fighting. Their overall map mobility is just so very strong. They're watching the top lane, and that's a nice move there by Darian, just doing some nice damage to Kevin. They're going to try to jump in on them. There's the ult. Darian going to get focused by 3, but pops his own ult and says, I'm going to go for some damage. Not going to matter too much. Gets stunned. Cannot quite deal enough damage to Kevin, or can he? That Ignite's taking down. Seems to not quite be enough. Ezreal ult. Looks like that's going to go off towards mid, not get too much cleared, though. Maybe he has to control this round. They picked up a 4th kill. But there's the Lee Sin in the enemy jungle. He's going to grab the red buff, see if he can run away from Ezreal and Sona. They're going for the pressure. Looks like he'll make it out, though.
So they're going to continue pushing on in the middle. They do have that Baron buff, of course, so that middle tower is going to go down without any fight at all. And SK are really in a little bit of trouble here. They need to make Moscow 5 have some sort of brain malfunction to really throw this away. And well, you know, they caught out Darian there, but that's only a case of he was just being a little bit overconfident along that top lane. But they are continuing to push on. They have a 4-man Baron buffed up team. They have a very, very strong supportive Lee Sin in there. And now you can see that even Kog'Maw is starting to build that big chunk of damage. He's got that BF sword on him. And as you mentioned earlier, Galio is very, very strong. But SK, I'm not too sure whether they can fight SK on a tower yet. I don't think they could quite dive them yet. It would have to be a very good initiation from Alex Ich.
Well, they did 4v5 sort of backdoor mid, the second mid turret, though, so they certainly are looking pretty confident. And at this point, I mean, I think they're going to be able to pretty soon, because they're ultimately getting to this point where, you know, they got Baron buffs, they've got, you know, a 13,000 gold lead. And speaking of that gold, by the way, before 30 minutes, over 300 minions on Galio. So we kind of talk about once in a while the 10 minions per minute mark. Well above that right now. And looking at the bottom lane, Candy Panda not in happy place, getting dived on by Lee Sin. And here comes Wukong for the damage output as well. Looks like he'll make it out here. And there comes a Mumu flashing away. Ezreal probably going to pop up that ult, maybe get them away. Will clear off some of these minions. It looks like they'll keep the turret alive for now. But this is looking pretty bad pretty soon.
Yeah, and Moscow 5 not actually completely diving that one. They realised that Alex is actually away. You can see he's in the middle, continuing farming. It's almost Hot Shot GG style. Just continuing farming. Don't worry, guys, I got this. I'm just keeping pushing the lane. And you know what? He's going to have a big wave going towards him. They're actually going to start collapsing in and around the back side of SK. And I think they've realised it. They're like, yeah, we need to get back to this base, because you can see Genja's in there. They're going to push on there. Alex actually flash ulti in, and wow, Candy Panda just exploding there. And then Alex actually not taking damage from the tower. Genja is. They're going to continue pushing that bottom tower now going down. Moscow 5 pushing both lanes here, and they are not worried about it at all. You can see that bottom lane now going down as Moscow 5 continue to push along the bottom. SK need to react to this one. They're either going to lose the top or lose the bottom. I'm not too sure which one they're going to go for. Genja has backed away though, so Alex is now with the support, and you can see he's just got that brilliant spot on. He's got absolutely bristling. He is so strong right now, farmed up to the hill, 4-1-5, and you know, so many people stopped playing Galio for a short while, but every time they see Alex Ich play him, I just think Soloky's going to be falling for Galio again.
Yeah, they're getting really, really scary. They've now taken down that inhibitor turret in mid. This will be their first inhibitor kill, and this is looking great right now for Moscow 5. Darian taking a bit of damage there, and let's see what they can do. He's going to split off, and there comes the pressure in on a Sona down below half health. Cyclone goes off as well. Kevin not in a happy place anymore. Lee Sin jumps over the wall, tosses a Q, misses that one. There goes the Niv dying to Wukong. The ult from Nunu will go off. A lot of damage being dealt. Still not quite dead. Amumu ult goes off. Still no kills for SK Gaming. Diamond picking up one onto Amumu as well. They finally lose Wukong, but they're still just pushing through onto that team. Now diving onto a turret against Ezreal. Genja getting the kill onto Kevin's Vladimir right now, and now Kog'Maw is just spitting out damage onto that Morgana. She's not happy with that one. They've now taken 3 kills to 1 death. The inhib has fallen, and they're just going to back off. Baron should be spawning in under 2 minutes, and that was quite the team fight for Moscow 5.
Yeah, and they're going to move away and pick up this final inner turret. So Moscow 5 was 6-0 up in turrets. It is a very one-sided game now, and they really have just driven home those advantages. It was 2-2 for so long, but it was all about that single triple kill attack at the top there, where they just went 3-0, didn't lose anyone. They could have easily switched the other way for SK, but they've just drive home their advantages. And this is really the difference between the good pro teams and the very best pro teams. They can just, as soon as they see that advantage, they just push it home, and they pick you apart, taking away your resources, and there's absolutely nothing that SK can do right now.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just in really, really bad shape. And I like how Darian's playing this. He's like, he actually is diving in by opening with his clone. He's using decoy so that they don't know he's actually diving towards them. And then he just Nimbus strikes in, lands Q, and sometimes he hits that Trinity Force proc, and then it's really bad for you because you've just been slowed by, I think it's a 40% slow in Trinity Force triggers. And in addition to the crazy burst damage, of course, available to him thanks to the Brutalizer, the armor penetration from his Q as well. And he's just kind of cutting people up as that Monkey King. And this is just, I mean, it's just looking so good for Moscow 5. They've got triple SK's kills, and if they win this game, they're guaranteed the spot in the semifinals. They're guaranteed to be a top 4 team at the World Finals.
Which is not bad for a team that's sort of come out of nowhere, qualified for Kiev, turns up, wins it without issue, and suddenly are looking very good again here at the World Championships. Absolutely unbeaten so far. And you know what? I think they're going to go unbeaten in the group at this rate, which I can't see anyone else, though. Who have they got next?
I believe their last match is going to be against, I want to say it's Cypher, but I could be wrong here.
It's Curse.
It's Curse from Moscow. No, they've already played them. I believe it's Cypher. I could just be incorrect here. But either way, they're just going to push in now again for Baron. And I mean, Moscow 5 just really do look like the team to beat right here. This Baron now down to about half health. Real will. We'll see if it can make it. Not enough damage. And they're going to get that Baron for free right there. Respawn around 39.5, I should say. And they look ready to go for the push.
You know what? I actually think they saw that Ezreal ulti coming, you know. I think it passed over the wards because they kind of backed away from doing the damage. They're like, stop a minute, okay, and go. And finish it off. And you can see they're just Cogmore picking it away. They expect to see a ward being popped over that wall in a moment. There it is, straight on top of Candy Panda. Just trying to catch anyone out. But you know what? And he's dived through to it, at least in trying to bait them in. Actually, you can see Dedrean's gone across, and you can see a double ulti there from Galio. And wow, SK just absolutely imploded in seconds. The final nail in the coffin now. Wow, that was just 1, 2, 3. I think a triple kill for Darian in there. So Alex Itch in there, and they just completely caught them out. They really, you know, I think that was a do or die move from SK. They were just like, okay, we're going to have to go for it. No, we've lost.
To initiate on Galio is kind of a silly move right there. But there we go, Darian using Cyclone just in the minion line, doesn't really care. They will pick up that Nexus, and Moscow 5, 4-0 in the group. I think they're guaranteed to be the second semifinalist there. We'll be playing on Friday. In the top 4 already. SK Gaming now, I believe they're 3-1, and they're going to be fighting Team Solo Mid, and there's a very heavy set of contention here for this last slot. Curse Gaming is 2-2, Team Solo Mid 2-2, SK 3-1, and SK could very well become a 3-2 team. Curse the same way, Solo Mid the same way, and these 3 teams are all going to fight for those last 2 slots for the right to play tomorrow. And we are actually going to be seeing Solo Mid versus SK as the next match. Don't go anywhere. That match means a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, indeed. And they're sat next to each other, so the divide is going to go between them. You can see Moscow 5 coming up to shake hands with SK. SK looking a little bit downhearted after that one because he won, just beat their West, stomped again. And it's not a happy feeling when you're on land and you get beaten out heavily. So they're going to have to look at themselves and have to do it quickly because, like you say, they're going to be playing Team Solo Mid who want their place. And really, I think that's going to be a fight for second and third.
As well as Curse, because you know, if Curse their last match is going to be
TSM
against
have to win it,
yeah, Team Solo Mid must win to have a chance. Curse must win against I believe it's eHome to have a chance, and then if Team Solo Mid does win, you've got this 3-way tie where Curse, TSM, and SK are all 3-2, and then it's going to matter because I believe they would trade amongst each other because Solo Mid has beaten SK and Curse has beaten Solo Mid, and I believe SK beat Curse, and so it's going to be who won fastest.
Who won fastest? So the admins are going to have a fun plat. I guess you guys at home will probably figure it out. If you are watching, don't forget to get yourselves on Twitter. It is QBDman and at Riot Freak.
At Riot Freak is me, yes.
And don't forget to trend it IEM #IEM. There we go. There is the tag. That's what you want to go with. And we're going to be switching across to the interviewers. So Moscow 5, very strong. Can anyone stop them? Daniel, find out.
And here we are once again, the same people that we had before the game. Nifty, just want to sum up the game for us really, really quickly from your perspective. What happened there?
I think we gave up too many kills in the early game. We had a stronger team fight, but we couldn't fight them because they were too fat already.
All right, so Alex, SK picked a very, very clear ultimate lineup. So they had 5, I think, AoE line ultimates there. Was there anything that you went through your head like, okay, we have to play it in a certain way because they have all this AoE spam, or what was the general strategy going into the game?
When they did all AoE, I was like thinking about maybe we should something like split push. So I asked maybe TF, and my team said that I should go Galio, and he just counters all the such stuff all because of his magic resistance.
Of course, so he can be in the AoE and he doesn't really care that much about being in the AoE. Well, Miv, losing to M5 means that right now you could still end up in a 3-way tie, which means, I mean, you can still come out of the group even if you lose to TSM. Smarter people than us are going to have to look at match times. I don't know, I don't do numbers, but for you, that means if you want to be safe to go out of the group, you need to win against TSM. Now, I asked the same thing to TSM earlier today. You guys are scrimming together quite a lot. How have the last couple of scrims against TSM looked for you?
I think they were pretty even. Like, we won games, they won games, so cannot say who will win.
But it's definitely something else to go into a game against a team that you played so many games against. I mean, you know each other pretty well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, obviously.
All right, so I hope that let's hope for your team that that's going to play in your favor, but it's going to be a very hard-fought match because TSM must win that game, because otherwise they're definitely out of the group. So they're going to fight very, very hard. Does that kind of thought even factor into your picks and bans? Like they're going to be desperate, so they're going to do X, Y, or do you not even think about that?
Maybe it matters, but I think you play a normal play style and play as good as you can.
All right, you play to win. So Alex, you are now guaranteed the first spot out of this group. So you have one more game, I believe. It's going to be against, is it going to be against eHome or?
Cypher.
Against Cypher, sorry, yes. So there's one more game up for you, but no matter what happens, you're the first in the group. Just be completely honest with us. Going into this, did you think you were going to make first in this group?
We were going for this.
You were going for this, so mission successful?
Yeah, pretty successful.
So just as a last, very simple question for you, just describe to me what was it like on the voice chat in the last couple of minutes of this game, because this game was very clear. It was very, very obvious that you were winning in the last couple of minutes. What were people saying in the voice chat? Were you still like 100% focused on the game, or were you all like, yes?
No, I was like crying some random stuff when I ulted with Galio.
Like what?
Don't know, something like, I think Damoy maybe, I'm not sure.
All right, okay, so definitely a good mood there for you guys. Okay, it is. Thanks very much for the interview, guys. It is coming down for SK to the very, very last match of the day, which selfishly is good for me, because if you'd won right now, the last match wouldn't be that important, and I am casting it. So I am looking forward to both of you guys doing your very, very best. I'm really hoping for a close, hard-fought match there to ring out the day, and what I think was a really, really strong day of matches here. Let's have another last handshake for the camera, maybe. Great game, guys. And there's the good luck versus TSM as well, so very cool. I am going to give it to ads, and then in about a minute or so don't go anywhere, maybe run out and grab some chips really quickly, but be back very soon, because I'm going to be up there with my good friend Demon casting TSM versus SK Gaming.